Hey friends, this is Maria with SimplyWell, and today I want to show you how I made my own do-it-yourself near-infrared sauna panel here. Unfortunately, I didn't document it as I was making it, so this is just kind of a quick, makeshift video because all these people have been asking me how I did it, because I did make this panel for $90 and normally these retail for about $1,000, and I just want to spread the word and let everyone know that healing doesn't have to be super expensive. You don't have to save thousands of dollars in order to get the benefit of the near-infrared light therapy or sauna therapy. So basically a near-infrared sauna uses these heat lamps here, which only cost about 10 bucks. I did buy these from Sauna Space, which is a company that sells the near-infrared panel as well as a complete sauna kit. Yeah, so I don't mean to undermine their sales or anything, but for people who have the time and the common sense and the information to make their own, I feel like this is a great option because this only cost me 90 bucks, saved me a bunch of money, and it was quite straightforward and easy to do even though I had zero experience whatsoever doing electrical wiring. And so that's my little disclaimer. I'm not a professional electrician. You might want to double check this with someone who is a professional electrician to make sure the wattage on this thing doesn't burn your house down, but we've used this a fair amount in our house so far and it hasn't burnt down, and I'm pretty confident that the wiring that I did based off of the electrician I talked to at Home Depot is, is legit. And so, yeah, I'm going to show you how I did it. Again, this will be pretty makeshift of a video, and my son Quinn might wake up any minute, so you might get to meet him. But basically, near-infrared light therapy sauna is, well, the light therapy is different than the sweating therapy. So ideally, and eventually, I'm going to, build a canvas tent to put this in so that with the heat coming from the lamps causes more sweating when you're actually in a container that contains the heat. So right now I'm doing this without the tent, and I'm just getting the benefit of the orange wavelength, which is really good for skin, for brain health, for your mitochondria, for your lymphatic system. Some people, once they get in the tent and are utilizing more of the sweating benefits of the sauna, do like a niacin flush, which also helps detoxify heavy metals. So you can just do some more research into that and all the benefits of the heat lamps here in the sauna therapy. But in order to make it, let me give you a list of everything that I bought, first of all. So you got to get all your supplies, and it ran me about 90 bucks. So you got to get porcelain light sockets, so the porcelain is better for the heat. And you want to get one that can take the voltage of these bulbs, which are 250 watts, I'm pretty sure. So the whole panel is going to need to handle 1,000 watts. So like I just got this as an example so that you can see kind of what they look like. But this is actually, as you can see, there's only 2 screws here, so this would be for like a lower watt bulb. But these ones I got here have 3 screws on the back. So there's a grounding line, there's the hot line, which is the black wire, and then there's the neutral wire, which is the white wire. And so basically what I did is I bought a piece of wood. You don't want it to be varnished or stained or anything because this is going to heat up and you don't want it to off-gas, right? So just straight up wood. So the wood that I bought, let's see, I got a 1 foot by 4 foot, and then I just cut it in half. And on the other side here, I just got another piece of wood and I screwed it together on the back. And then this is super makeshift. I didn't even like measure, these holes to be exact. So anyway, yeah, once I got the piece of wood, if you could get one solid square piece of wood, that would probably be better. But again, this is just DIY. So I got the 4 porcelain light sockets that can handle up to 250 watts each, 4 heat lamp bulbs, which were 10 bucks. And then you want the screws. Usually the light sockets come with the screws. So there's 2 screws each, phillips screws to screw these in. I think those come with the light sockets. So that's a total of 8 screws for the front. Let's see, a drill with a drill bit, an electrical drill, a screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, 8-foot cable plug. So as you can see here, this whole thing, I decided not to do a switch because that was just a little bit more wiring. But basically, this thing just plugs in. So the final socket here is the plug. So I got an 8-foot plug. You can get whatever distance you feel is necessary for the space you're going to be plugging it into. 4 electrical boxes. These are the boxes that go over the wiring. 16 screws for the electrical boxes because there's 2 here and 2 above. 12 electrical wire clamps, which unfortunately I don't know what I did with the leftovers. They're just plastic clamps that connect the wires together. And I'm going to have to be describing a lot of this instead of visually showing you, so I'm sorry because I'm not going to undo all this. But then I got a 12-foot roll of electrical wiring. I only used about 6 feet of it. And this one that I got, that's where you want to talk to an electrician or someone who knows their stuff at the hardware store, because this does need to be able to handle, 1,000 watts basically. So this one has 4 wires in it. I'm not sure why there are 4. I'm not sure what the 4th one is for, but basically you just need the black, the white, and the copper wire. So the copper wire is the grounding wire. And I didn't use the red wire. I don't know what the red wire is for, but basically you just strip this down with some scissors or some pliers, and then once that's stripped down, all of the 4 wires will come out. Again, we're ignoring the red wire. You're going to need also some strippers that strip the plastic off the inch of these wires here, so that they can make contact, and let's see, wire cutters is also useful. So I will post the full list of things that you need down below this video, but that's basically it, what you need. And so to start off making this, of course I cut these 2 boards in half. Sometimes at Home Depot they will actually cut wood for you if you don't have a saw. I already had a piece of wood here that fit this space, so I used my drill to drill the holes here to connect them. And then I just drilled 4 holes, big enough to contain all 3 wires. So a relatively big hole. 4 holes in the place where I wanted. Again, I didn't even measure it. And then, so the first step, once I already had the holes, was to connect the wires to the porcelain panel here on the back. So before even attaching it to the wood, I cut about 7 inches of this wire cable here. So again, cutting open this plastic so that you can get 6 inches 4 times. So just cut 4 of those, 6 or 7 inches long. Take out the red wire, and then you've got 3 wires. You've got your black wire, your white wire, and your copper wire. The black is the hot line, the white is the neutral, and the copper is the grounding line. So on the porcelain socket for the higher voltage bulbs, which is what we're going to be using, there's going to be 3 screws. Let's see here, I think the black, yeah. So the black hot wire is screwed into the gold screw, the white neutral wire is screwed into the silver screw, and then the copper ground wire is screwed into the additional screw, which is sometimes green, but whatever the additional screw is. And you have to bend the wire. So after you've stripped the final inch from the wire, strip the plastic off of it, the color off of it, you want to bend that over, and you can kind of see here on this how someone has bent that around. It needs to be in full contact. That's super important. And you can also look up instructional videos on how to do this, but it needs to be in full contact so that it's a really good connection there. And once you've connected all 3 of the wires to the screws, and you've done that on all 4 of your sockets, then you just want to stick the porcelain and the wire through the hole and then screw it down. So now we finished this part, right? The front part is done, and we're just going to flip it over, and we're going to do the only part that's slightly challenging, which is the wiring here, which unfortunately I can't really show you. You can see my first attempt here was a little wonky. But basically, what your box is going to look like on the back is this. So you've got, the front would have the sockets on them, and your back side here is going to have 4 sets of 3 wires coming out of the hole. And one thing I would have done differently is make sure that the wires are long enough, because I made mine a little short and it was kind of hard to clamp them together. properly without them being long enough. So when they're long enough, they can still kind of bend into the box afterwards, and it's better to err on the side of longer than too short. So after you've got this, we're going to be connecting all of the sockets to each other. So there it is. So let's say this is the first socket that you're going to start with, and then it's going to go from there to here, from here to there, from there to here, and then this is going to be the one that you're going to attach your plug into. So since you already have these in place, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting a length of the electrical wire that's going to go from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. And each of those lengths of electrical wire is going to have the three wires again. And the idea is you just are going to be connecting. You even see that? Okay, so this is the length of electrical wire. And you don't want to make it too long, because like this one I made too long and it got kind of wonky. So this is, measure how long this space is, and then add on the additional 6 inches for each side. But you want to keep the middle part covered and insulated with this plastic. So say I'm wiring the first one here. The clamps are going to go on top of each wire set. So you're connecting the black wire to the black wire, the white wire to the white wire, and the copper wire to the copper wire, and putting the clamps on them. Read the instructions or look online and get some instructional videos about how to put those clamps on the top, because it's really important that all the wires are connecting and that they're very securely in there. You have to screw it on. So I would say that's really the most difficult part of doing it. And those clamps just screw right on, but it's a very basic, easy to understand principle, which is you're just connecting the like to the like in terms of color. And on that first wiring, there's only going to be 2 wires for each color going in, right? And then you're going to connect it to the other side, but then you're going to be wanting to connect this side to this, which is going to be another electrical wire with, 3 more wires. So the second and the third and the fourth outlets will all have 3 wires of the same color being clamped together, right? So this first one has 2 wires, and this has 3. This also has 3. I'm not going to draw it, but you're just sequentially going through here. And this last one also has 3 because it has the 3 coming out here. It has the 3 coming from this wire, and it's going to have the 3 from your final plug cable. Okay, so it's really the only difficult part about this. Once you've clamped those together securely, I think they're called clamps. I hope I'm even using the right terms here. But and then on the last one, you've stripped down your plug wire, and it's going to have the same 3 wires coming out of it. Then you're just going to screw down these boxes. So actually, you have to screw these in to the side of the boxes first. So there's a little screw on the inside that clamps down these 3 wires so that they don't get loose. I'm trying to think of a sequence here. Did I go out of sequence there? Yeah, I did. So basically, that illustrates the concept of what you're doing, but the correct sequence would be to get these lengths clamped down inside these first, and then connect them, right? So you're going to have this box with the wires poking out on the other side long enough to connect them, and you're just going to be connecting all the wires here with the clamps, and then you just screw it down. So you're screwing and securing this down, and that's it. What else? Did I miss anything? Yeah, I think that's it. And then, of course, you're going to flip it over. And ideally you would like screw on a hook onto the top of this, either a handle or some way to secure it to whatever you're going to be hanging it from. I've just been propping mine against the wall, but I'm going to screw in the bulbs. And Sauna Space's panel has some really nice metal cages that cover the light. And I think that's probably pretty smart because these bulbs do get hot. And in theory, you know, if you were inside a tent and you were getting really hot and sweaty and you were in there for a while and say maybe you had low blood sugar or you got dizzy, you stood up, because a lot of the people who use these have serious health conditions, you know. You know, in theory, you could pass out or fall over onto the bulbs, which could break, and they'd be not only hot but sharp. So I have not actually found a good metal cage to cover them that fits those. So I'm just hoping that doesn't happen. But that is one feature of this homemade DIY panel that is a bit of a safety hazard. There's the little guy. Come here, buddy, I'm out here. So here, I'm going to plug it in. There we go. And yeah, it's super soothing. It's great for if you live in the Pacific Northwest like I do, and when it gets, you know, less sunny and more overcast for much of the year. So that was it. I hope I didn't leave out anything major. Hey, Clay. Oh, what's that? Hi. Whoa. Did I sit on my lap? Oh, perfect timing, my dear. Because if you want to bang around on this, I already did my video. Who's that? Is that you? It's like a mirror, huh? Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, you know, and just gives you a basic framework for, you know, the basics of how to do this. But, you know, we're all smart. I think we can figure this stuff out. And, yeah, have a fabulous day. Thanks for watching.